Hello, Internet. I played in this 3-day New Year's chess tournament with time control of 90 minutes plus 30-second increment. So 3 days with a total of 6 games. So that's 2 days, 2 games per day. So this would be my game 1. I played black against this 1450 rated player, and this is dual rated USCF and FIDE. But this guy doesn't have FIDE rating, just like most US players. So most of our tournaments here are just USCF rated. So the ratings that I'm announcing is USCF, although it's dual rated FIDE and USCF. So he's 1450 rated and I'm 1750. I was almost 1800. I thought I'm gonna win all my games and I'll be 1800 in no time, but it didn't turn out well. It's a pretty terrible result for my total of 6 games, but we'll analyze one game at a time. So this is my first game. So start with e4, c5. We're playing Sicilian defense, but it looks like a close position. Knight c3, knight c6, and then he played g3. I'm going for a Fianchetto structure in the king side. Played d6 here. Bishop g2, knight f6. This looks pretty standard setup, but he played pawn to h3. Looks like he was afraid of this bishop move over to g4, so he played h3 first. Also, he could be looking for pawn push here. That was what I was expecting, like pawn push, and then f5, g5, h4, h5 type of attack. Just what I expected during the opening. So he played h3 here, played e6. So my bishop cannot leave on this diagonal anyway, so my initial plan was just to do a queenside fianchetto later on. So I close this diagonal with pawn to e6. 6, 3, e7. And then he pushed f4. This is what I was anticipating. So at this point, I was considering like king f8 or not castling at all, not moving my king. Also, I wanted to push my queenside pawns because if he doesn't play a4, I can maybe expand with a6, b5. So after a4, I played a6. So if white doesn't play a4, I'm going to expand on the queen side and take some space on the queen side while my opponent pushes on the king side. So after a6, he played knight f3. So I thought this is like the best opportunity for me to expand on the queen side. Before pushing b5, I decided to play queen c7 first, and he castled b5. I don't think the move order matters, b5 or queen c7, but this is the setup that I wanted. Then he played rook e1. So instead of attacking on the king side, he decided to put the rook in the center and attack the center instead. Maybe he knew that I don't have the intention of castling at all. That's why I put the rook on e1. Because rook on f1 is good as it is. So maybe he saw that. Maybe he noticed that I don't want to castle at all, which I don't. I don't want to castle. Rook e1, b4. So if I don't push b4, and later on if he pushes f5 and goes e5, there's this knight d5 move that I'm trying to prevent. I don't want it to happen. So when the position looks like this, I push b4 right away. So while my pawn's on e6, he cannot jump towards the center. If he pushes f5 later on, there's no more knight d5. Knight d5 is pretty annoying in this pawn structure. That's what I avoided first. So I played b5, and then b5, b4, and then he played knight e2, running back there, and then rook b8. This is pretty standard setup. Bishop e3. I believe he wants to just develop his pieces, take the pieces out of its original square. So bishop e3, and I played e5. Alternate move is d5 if I want to do the pawn break on d5, but I played e5 instead. Then here my opponent played f5. This is what I thought he would do. He wants to push all the kingside pawns, but the difference is that the rook is already on e1. So I thought that move on rook e1 is unnecessary. So f5, played h6. The move that I missed here is pawn to d5. So after my opponent pushed f5, I could have pushed d5 here and do my pawn break, so I don't have that backwards pawn structure anymore, which is typical on the Sicilian defense. I could have pushed d5, but I didn't. I pushed h6 right away, which is a bit unnecessary. H6, g4, and then here again, I have the opportunity to push d5. I believe this is my first inaccuracy of the game by not pushing d5. So here, after my opponent played g4, I played knight h7. So here it looks like a defensive position already, instead of me pushing d5, which could lead to attacking opportunities. So yeah, I really missed this d5 move. So knight h7 is what I did. I played knight g3. Play knight g5. Just looking for piece trades and maybe hopefully open up this h file. I was hoping for an h file attack. I didn't know how to do an h file at that point of the game, but I want that was my intention. That's why I played knight g5, traded right here, and then here's my mistake of taking this knight with a pawn. I should have taken with the bishop, but during the game I took with a pawn, which is a mistake. Um, because I have this bishop on the back, and he has a good bishop, and I have a bad bishop over here that doesn't have good angles either, good diagonals. So yeah, that's a mistake. I took with a pawn, and then h takes g5, knight h5. Attacking this pawn on g7, so my goal is to defend that pawn or move that pawn to g6. G6 is what I did. The best continuation here is just king f8. Actually, king f8 or castle are the same, but I prefer the line on king f8. So I'll show the line first that I should have done. So king f8, it goes like king f8, g3. I believe this is how it goes. And then f6, c3, takes. And then it looks like this. I don't like it, but this is the suggested move at that point. My position is already bad, so I guess this is the suggested moves. At that point, I already did one inaccuracy and one mistake. That was the suggested move order. I didn't like either, but the position is already bad. Back to the game. After knight h5, I pushed g6, and it looks losing already at this point. After I played g6, just played knight g3, and I thought I have to defend this pawn. There's really no way to defend it because there's so many attacks coming. He could also place the rook on f1, push here, and then place a knight there. Could be annoying. So yeah, at this point it was actually already lost, but I just kept playing anyway. Knight g3, queen d8 to defend that pawn, just which I cannot defend anyway. Rook f1. And then I thought that he's going to open up over here and then maybe play queen b3, putting a lot of attacks on the f7 pawn. So when he played rook f1, I played rook h7, putting an extra defense on this pawn. Then c3. He opened up the diagonal on the light square. So I thought I had to take here, not to allow queen b3. Thanks. And I played queen b6. And there's an open b file, so might as well acquire the open file myself, since I already have the initiative by having my rook on b8, and then I'll put my queen on b6. I believe I said that I believe I said this position is already losing like 5 moves ago, but this is how it the game went. Queen b2. I'm gonna lose this pawn, and after losing the pawn, it's lost, right? Queen d2, queen b2. Looking for a queen trade, even though I'll be down a pawn. It's g5. I still traded queens. I'm down a pawn, but I'm hoping that I can win a pawn back in the endgame and maybe hope for a draw. At this point, I already felt bad because this guy's like 300 elo below me. So bishop takes e2, rook b2. Just trying to doing some attack over there, and also it's an open file, so might as well do the attack. I played rook b2, took out the bishop on e3, bishop h4. Well, I don't have a good diagonal for my bishop, so this bishop came from here. Where else could I put my bishop? Maybe I could play bishop d8 and then bishop a5, but this is not a good angle either. Also, my opponent could just play something like c4, and I don't have my. Actually, I could have done that, right? Maybe rotate the bishop over here. But anyway, I decided to put my bishop here in h4 instead of the other diagonal, and maybe trade it down. I thought trading down the bishop would be good for me, because if my opponent plays something like g5 later on, my bishop cannot leave. Although my bishop cannot be trapped, I was afraid that my bishop gets stuck. Yeah, I don't like my bishop getting stuck there, which is why I traded this bishop for knight, which is a blunder. After the blunder, it's like 3 or 4 point advantage already for white. So after king h2, yeah, traded right away. Yeah, after the blunder, it's like 4 point advantage already on the eval, 3 or 4. Terrible. So yeah, but kept playing. Takes a5, rook f2. At this point, he was up a pawn, so he was chasing my rook, hoping for an even trade. So I pull back, right? Rook f2, rook b8, bishop c1. Bishop a6. I mean, this bishop didn't have any good diagonals on this part of the board. I finally am able to take out the bishop, but I'm already down the pawn, and he's just trading down the pieces. So bishop a6. Bishop, I'm attacking this pawn. So defended with bishop f1. Knight e7. Putting an extra defense on this one, because if he trades like this, there's going to be an open f-file, and I'm avoiding any trades. I want to get a better position before trading pieces down. So if I'm able to take that with a knight, that would be good. So that's why I played knight e7. Rook b2. He really wants those trades. And then I kept running. Rook a8. Yes, rook ab1. And then I thought he's gonna play rook b8 check. Play knight c6. Put an extra defense on the b8 square so there's no rook b8 check. After knight c6 though. Yeah, that's losing. Rook b6, king d7. To defend this knight. F takes g6. Here's a bit tricky. So if I take back with a knight, it's gonna sack the rook here. So this is not what happened during the game. So if I take with a pawn, he's gonna sack the rook there. I'm gonna take the rook back, and then there's a check here, which makes me lose the rook behind here. So when he took the pawn, I really can't take back. Oops. This was the position. I can't take back with a pawn. I played rook g7. And then he took another pawn. And then here I can finally take with a rook. But here I'm down by 2 pawns. He has 2 passed pawns already. I could have resigned at this point. This is a resignable game. I'm down by 2 pawns, 2 passed pawns over there, and I don't have any counterplay. But no, I'm in despair mode. I keep playing. I kept playing for like 20 more moves. Bishop e2. Oh, I can't do anything at this point. I can't do anything, but I'll keep playing. The resign button was missing, and I don't want to resign. It's such a it felt like a waste of time, but I was hoping for a win. It's over the board. I have to keep playing, even though the position's already losing. So I'm just rotating my pieces. Maybe he blunders later on. Who knows? But blundering 2 passed pawns is just hard. Like how does someone blunder, right? But I kept playing. Knight 4. Oh, then I believe we traded pieces here. After knight f4, bishop takes, pawn takes, king f3, king e6, and then he just pushes. I don't think there's any tricks over there. He can just push any pawns in any order he wants, and he still is able to promote. D4. I thought that was unnecessary. He can just push and end the game. But anyway, king e7 because if he takes, I cannot take back. There's a rook on my third rank, so I pulled my king back. King e7, and then he resumed his pawn push on h5. Okay. C takes. I took the pawn here so I can open up the c file, hoping for some attacks on the c file. I played rook c7. Now I'm looking for like check over there. If I check him, I feel like I'm in charge, but he blocks my check. Rook 6 b3 and then d5 here. Like if we trade any pawns here, some files will open up, and then maybe I can attack some more. But he just played e5, keeping the files closed. But there's an open light square diagonal. I don't think I can do any of that because if I move my bishop anywhere there, there's a check here. Not really a check, but pinning my rook and forcing exchanges. So can't move my bishop, even though there's an open diagonal there. Played rook f5 instead. Rook g1, defending this pawn that's being attacked, so it can keep pushing. I could only prolong the game, although it's already losing. King f8. I don't have that much moves, right? Bishop b3, attacking the rook. I can't really pull the rook back. He'll be losing. He can actually promote either way. Many ways to promote. So I decided not to pull back the rook. After bishop d3, if you hang one piece, look for another piece to hang. Then rook c4. So I gave him 2 choices. Multiple rooks to take. Let him have the pleasure to have a choice. Check me over here. King f7, g6, king 7. Maybe stalemate ideas. At this point, actually, our time remaining is just So after king e7, where is that? King e7. I have 5 minutes, and he had 7 minutes. Well, there's 30-second increment, but you'll never know. Some people choke on time control situations. That's maybe why. That's another reason why I kept playing. They could choke. There's 5 minutes remaining. Play g6, king e7. Wait, g6, king e7, yeah, king e4. At this point, my opponent felt like I'm playing for a stalemate, so he removed the king over there. So I have more moves to push, because if I have more moves on the board, that means less chances for a stalemate. So he played king e4, f3. If I keep pushing this, I have less moves and more chances to get a stalemate. f3, b7. Yeah, here it's almost over. h7. Then I played rook h5. I'm just prolonging the game. No chances here. b8. Bishop g8. Bishop g8. 7. Yeah, it's lost, but I don't want to resign. The resign button is too heavy. Here's probably to a queen. That's a check. King e7. Yep, I played until checkmate because I can't resign. I don't feel like resigning. So yeah, the first game is a loss against a 1450 rated player. I believe I have a total of 5 inaccuracies, 1 mistake, and 1 blunder. But the only significant bad plays that I did is just there's one significant inaccuracy in opening, and then one significant mistake, and then the blunder. At the point where I played the blunder, the game was over. Like, White can slowly improve his position, and I can't do anything about it. So the moves that I miss, I'll put back the moves from the opening. I had one inaccuracy and one mistake that I really should remember for my next games. If my opponent plays Sicilian, close Sicilian, and then kingside Fianchetto. Where is it? Putting back the original position. Okay, let's put back the moves. e4, c5, c3. Putting back the moves. I'm putting back the moves where I made the mistake, so I remember where it is. 2, 6, 3, 6, d3, 7, 4. I wish I can do this faster, right? Where is the mistake? F3. I got lost. Got lost in the papers, like what move it is. Okay, goes castle. b5. b1. b4. There. Rook b8. Yeah, this is still pretty good at this point. 3, e5, then f5. So this is the first inaccuracy that I have. It's when I miss pawn to d5 after white plays f5. Is inaccuracy. Yeah, I could definitely look for a pawn break here if my pawn on e5 is well defended by knight and defended by a queen. I should really just push this d5. I should look for opportunities to push d5, but I didn't push it that way. f5, 6, g4. Then here, I could have pushed d5 again. So yeah, that was my first issue, is that I wasn't looking for a pawn break here. I thought this pawn is supposed to stay. So yeah, Yeah, those are two inaccuracies, but yeah, those are the two inaccuracies of the game. I should learn from. You know, it's a learning game. So when I played h6, g4, I played knight h7. Yeah, knight h7 seems defensive. I'm defending on the g5 square, but I'm losing my opportunity to attack. So yeah, those are like significant inaccuracy. And then the blunder of the game, I mean the mistake. I mean, the big mistake that I did is taking back with a pawn, hoping for an open h file. Yeah. After this, it's pretty much over. I look at the continuation on the computer, and the ideas for why are super easy. So this is pretty much lost. I should have just taken with a bishop. So I don't have a good diagonal here, so I should look for ways to trade down this bishop. And if he goes back, I mean, I can just stay there, or I can place my bishop here, or somewhere anywhere. But instead, I took back with a pawn. After this, it felt lost. It looks lost on the evo. It's lost on the engine, and most of the suggested moves are just defensive moves that doesn't lead to a win or a draw. So yeah, those are the two inaccuracies and one mistake. Uh, and this is the first game. I lost. What time is it? So I have this is first game, so there's 5 more games. I'll try to analyze 1 or 2 games per day, but I have some things to do at the moment. To do some work. So hopefully tonight, when I get home from work, I could start analyzing my next games. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.